All right, let's get straight into your sport news now, and we'll start things off with the SABC senior sports reporter Mduduzi Ndlovu, who joins us in studio to unpack the weekend action that has been. Very good evening to you, Mdu, and thank you so much for making time. I think maybe just before we get into yesterday's action, let's talk about Agani Simbine and what he was able to do in China, of course, in the Diamond League. Absolutely scintillating performance there.
It's been a brilliant time for South African athletics. If you look what happened, what he did in Botswana recently, if you look what Bayanda has been doing recently, it's unfortunate for Bayanda today. He was disqualified for a false start, but it's been a very brilliant, I would say, a moment. It's a phase for South African athletes, which I think if the leadership can get their house in order and do things right, we will be heading to the right direction.
No, absolutely. It was great to see, of course, for Simbine winning gold. They're beating the likes of Ferdinand Omanyala and, of course, Litsile Tebogo in China. But, of course, yesterday was a big one. A lot of dreams were shattered in terms of the all-South African final in terms of the CAF Champions League. Good news for Sundowns. They are through. But, of course, for Pirates, you know, failing at that last hurdle. I want us to start things off with Pirates because before yesterday's loss, they had gone the entire tournament unbeaten.
Maybe, Chloe, that's where the downfall was for Orlando Pirates, going the whole season of the tournament without any blemish. Maybe they needed some blemish along the way to just say to them, wake up. It's a wake-up call for them to be focused all the way, maybe all the way to the final. But to lose in that manner for me, what was disappointing is not the loss per se as a South African. It was the manner in which Orlando Pirates, for me, lost. I feel like defensively and the organization of the team, it's not the Orlando Pirates we've been seeing throughout the season. It's not the Orlando Pirates that has been conquering when going outside, especially in North Africa. The defense was found wanting throughout the match. I don't know. I can't even put an excuse for them on what and what. When these two youngsters, for me, you talk of Relebohile Mofokeng, you talk of Mohaung Kota. For me, these youngsters were carrying Orlando Pirates. They were leading the line. We saw their first goal there. Relebohile Mofokeng, as we see right now on the screen right now, Mohaung Kota. That's deadly strike there. These youngsters were leading the line and they were so not fearful, just so fearless. In Egypt, doing that as a 20-year-old, Mohaung Kota, as a Relebohile Mofokeng, doing that in Egypt. You know the environment in Egypt, though the stadium, yes, wasn't packed, but the environment in Egypt on itself, it's something else. But Orlando Pirates conceding 3 goals from all of them, from crosses. Can't you do something about it? That's why I'm just saying maybe the downfall was not losing a single match throughout the season, only to go and lose in the second leg of the semi-final.
Yeah, and it also speaks to game management, which is something that they just weren't able to see through, because once you've scored those 2 away goals, that's golden, but they weren't able to hold on. But of course, for Sundowns at the death, being able to equalize against an Al Ahly side that has won this championship a record 12 times. How brilliant was that performance?
They never say die spirit. That's all I can say. They never say die spirit by Mamelodi Sundowns. They showed that in a pact. It was all red on those stands. They're dancing, they're shouting, they're singing, everything against all odds. Everything was against Mamelodi Sundowns in that match, but nerves of steel. And the introduction of one Shikapala, Themba Zwane, the skipper, the leader, Mshishi, it gave the team some confidence. He hasn't been playing throughout the season, but he is back. He's back with a bang. Yes, you could tell that some of the passes, because he got a chance to score in that match last night, but he fluffed his line. I was like, because of game time, maybe the confidence level here and there is not good for him. But Sundowns, as a team collectively, they showed that they've got nerves of steel, fighting in that packed stadium against 12-time champion no, that was something else.
What do you make of the use of VAR, especially across the two legs? Because we saw with this technology how it was able to save the blushes or maybe even correct decisions that would have otherwise gone a different direction.
Last week I said Orlando Pirates survived by the skin of their teeth at the FNB Stadium. The VAR decisions, Pirates were down and out at home. They were down and out. If it wasn't for the VAR, if we didn't have that facility called the VAR, we would have been talking another different story going to Egypt. So the employment of this VAR, it shows that the standard of football is on another level as we speak. Even monetary-wise, sponsors pumping money, they don't want to see their money going with mistakes on the field of play, losing because of some human elements of mistake. Yes, they are human beings who are also manning this VAR, but that second eye, that second opinion saying, come, check this, check for yourself. What is this? Can we discuss it? Is it on, off? What is this decision? It just takes away most of the mistakes that we've been seeing throughout, especially across the African continent. You will know that the referees were bullied, more especially by the Western and Northern African countries. Those players, they bully referees, they bully fans, they bully fellow players on the field of play. But now, thanks to VAR, the employment of it, we need it in South Africa.
Yep. And of course, now we know Sundowns will be taking on Pyramids in the final. Pyramids also want to make history. This could be their first CAF Champions League title. But of course, for Sundowns, they want that second star. How do you think it's going to go across those two legs?
New kids on the block. This team was formed in 2008 called Pyramids FC. Money, lots and lots of money has been pumped on this team to be where they are. They are currently number 1 in the Egyptian league, 4 points ahead of second placed Al Ahly. We know the giants of Africa, the giants of Egypt, Al Ahly. We know Zamalek, they are third placed on their standings. They show that that money has been invested very well. You see the kind of players they've brought into the team, the kind of coaching staff they've brought into the team. This Pyramids team, like I said last week, they showed us what they are capable of. Also, before this match against Orlando Pirates, they showed us what they are capable of when they knocked out a team like SFA from Morocco. You don't just bully those teams, beating them 4-1. This was something else. So for Mamelodi Sundowns, they have to just go there and say 2016 we did it. It's almost 10 years since that one, when they were guided by one jingle, Spitzo Musimane. They went to the second star. Is this going to come home? We are crossing fingers for Mamelodi Sundowns to bring it home as South Africans.
We definitely are, for them to fly that South African flag high. Thank you so much. That is, of course, Mduduzi Ndlovu, SABC sports senior reporter here, and of course talking about all things the CAF Champions League.